Lovely. So yeah, we're going to start lying on our backs. Maybe knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Your knees can be as far apart as they want to be, as close to you as you want them to be, whatever. And then we're going to start with the same sort of breath work we did last week, just because I had a couple of conversations with people who found it a little tricky, so I thought we'd revisit it, because I think it's quite a useful technique to use during your practice, just to see how things are feeling and to slow down the breath and engage those kind of core muscles. So we'll revisit that. And then we'll have a little play with some other stuff. So if you rest both hands on your belly, fingers spread nice and wide, so you're catching as much contact with that space on your belly as you can. We'll just start with a few soft breaths to settle. So maybe a few little sighs. Breath in through the nose, letting all the air go out the mouth, nice and soft. Starting to take your attention to your breath. And just notice how that feels. Just check in on your face. If your face is nice and soft, notice if your jaw feels tight. Maybe wriggle your jaw from side to side to loosen the muscles around that joint. Maybe open and close the mouth like as though you were going to do a big yawn and a little stretch. And when you're ready, closing the mouth, just breathing gently through the nose to start with. Starting to notice different things about your breath. So anything from the physical sensation of the air as it comes over your nostrils, into your nostrils, over your upper lip. Or maybe it's how it feels deeper down in the body. Maybe you notice how your belly moves underneath your hands, how your chest, the sides of your ribs move. Noticing whatever occurs to you. When you feel comfortable with that breath, start to draw it a little bit deeper, almost down towards your hands, trying to fill up the whole of your lungs with air. Trying to find a nice steady pace with your breath. So maybe a steady count of 3 in and 3 out. Or maybe you can stretch it a little bit longer. Maybe it's 4 in and 4 out. And something that's controlled, steady, and fairly comfortable. And once that breath's a little bit more established, keeping it going, just take your attention to your back and notice which parts of your back are touching the ground and which are lifting away from it. As we move into the breath exercise, we're not trying to move the spine, so you sort of want to try and feel like there's no change in those points of contact. You still have the same little arch in your lower back. It might be a big one, might be a little one. But just keeping that shape of the spine. It's with the muscles at the front of the body that we're moving, rather than the whole of the trunk. So when you're ready, on your next breath, maybe on the exhale, drawing the belly button back towards the front of your spine. As you inhale, let the tummy soften and fill. Exhaling, tummy button towards the front of the spine. Inhaling, soft belly. Keeping that going, using your breath count. Nice steady breath. Noticing how your body moves underneath your hands. Taking 3 more of these breaths. When you're ready, returning to your steady breath, letting your belly rise and fall naturally. We'll start by moving into the wrists and ankles. So if you reach both arms up above you, so they're kind of, your hands are kind of hanging out above your shoulders, and make 2 fists. And then you're going to draw almost with your knuckle of your index finger, drawing nice big circles, moving into the wrists. So trying to keep your elbows still and your shoulders still. And that means just watching where the inside of your elbow goes as well. So making sure it doesn't roll around too much. So letting the movement happen as much as possible in your wrists. There will be a little bit of movement in the rest of the arm, but try and limit it. And then taking it back the other way. Noticing if one direction feels easier than the other, or maybe one wrist feels better. Going back the first way again. And then the second way. And then almost like grabbing your 4 fingers with your thumb. And you're going to flick your fingertips away, letting the thumb resist that movement. So it's a really active, strong flick. So there's something quite repulsive on your fingertips. Unfortunately, it's going to just land on your face because of gravity. And starting to flick your fingers faster and faster. Get them as fast as you possibly can, so they're almost like a blur. Just a few more. And then shake it out. You can let the hands come down on the body or rest alongside you on the mat. Going to reach the right leg up overhead. Overhead? No, over the hip. Trying to get the leg as straight as you can. Interlace the hands behind the thigh. I'm going to move into the ankle, so it doesn't matter if the knee is a bit bent. I'm not worried about the knee right now. And you're going to draw big circles with your big toe. And moving the ankle and the foot as much as possible, and keeping the knee and hip as still as you can. And then changing direction. We're going to straighten the leg a little bit. So if your leg doesn't want to straighten, you can slide your hands closer to your hips to find a bit more space. You're going to press through the heel, draw the toes towards the face, and then point the toe on the next exhale. Inhale to draw the toes to the face. Exhale, point them up towards the sky. You're trying to keep a slightly straighter leg here. Moving nice and slowly between the two. Really noticing which parts of your foot are moving. Two more breaths. And bringing the foot back into a flexed position, so ending up there. You're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Take the palm of your right hand just to that crease where the hip and the thigh meet. And just gently give it the thigh a little roll out to the side. It's just a gentle movement. Just finding a little bit more space across the front of the hip. So with the right foot flexed, you're going to lift the left knee away from the ground. Reach forward. You can grab the left thigh or the left shin, depending on how your body feels. Lying yourself back down. You're keeping the right foot flexed and almost pressing the right knee away from the body to keep that front of the hip nice and open. Just finding wherever that stretch is for you. So it's move the position of your left leg to adjust the intensity of that stretch. Nice steady breaths. One more breath here. Then we're going to release the left foot down. Inhale to reach the right foot up to the sky. Exhale, releasing that down as well. Lovely left foot. So reaching up the left leg, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh, starting with those ankle rolls. So drawing those nice big circles with your big toe. Taking it nice and slowly so you can really feel all the bits. Hopefully there's not too much clicking going on. And then going back the other way. One more circle. And then getting the left leg as straight as you can get it, flexing through the foot, adjusting your hands down the back of the left leg. On an exhale, pointing the toes to the sky. Exhale to draw the toes towards your face. Alternating between those, using your breath to guide you. So see if you can get that movement of your foot to last the full length of your inhale and exhale. One more, ending with your foot in a flex, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, palm of the left hand in that hip crease, just giving the thigh a little nudge, a little roll. And then when you're ready, sitting up, grabbing the right thigh, lying yourself back down, finding the stretch on this side. It might be easier, it might be harder, just whatever feels good on this side. And then taking nice steady breaths. One more breath here. On an exhale, you're going to release the right foot down. Inhale as you reach the left foot up high. Exhale, dropping the foot down. You're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment to get into the hips a little bit. So if you start with the feet together, then knees bent, and then drop the knees out to the side so the soles of the feet come together. If this is sort of an uncomfortable position for you, you can prop blocks or cushions or something underneath, just at the top of your thighs to support the movement and limit the movement if you need to. So just coming into it as far as is comfortable. Hands can rest on the body. If you want to take a bit of a stretch up the front of the body, you can reach the arms up overhead. Maybe take opposite elbows if you're short on space. Taking your attention back to your breath. Option to play with that breath exercise again as well. So your back will be in a slightly different shape, particularly if your arms are overhead. So just notice how that feels different here. And then maybe take a few breaths, exhaling, drawing the navel to the front of the spine. Inhaling, softening the belly. Just see how it feels in this shape. If you're holding opposite elbows, switch your grip. Get both sides. Taking one more breath here. And then you can use the hands on the outside of the thighs if it helps as you draw your knees back together. And you take the feet wider apart so they're almost maybe mat width apart if you're in the middle. Again, arms can be wherever you want them to be. We can do some flowing twists. So on an exhale, drop the knees down towards the right. Inhale to reach them up to the sky. And exhale to the left. So keeping that going. Inhaling to reach the knees up. Exhale, they drop to the right. So the soles of the feet are staying down. moving through the hip and the back a little bit. It's up to you how far you drop the knees over. Depends what feels comfortable and what you have control over. So just make sure you're moving as far as your body can control the movement. Just one more pair of these. Ending with the knees up towards the ceiling. And then gently starting to push yourself up to seated, or maybe rocking up and down the length of your spine before you rock up to a seated position. Just going to get a couple of side stretches in before we come up and do a little bit of balancing. So finding a comfortable cross-legged position. If your back is rounding or you have any discomfort in your hips, then sit on a cushion or a brick or something. Just get a bit more comfortable. On an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms wide, palms touch overhead. Exhale, take the hands to heart. Do a couple more of these. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. 3 more. Two more. Last one like that. This time we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up high, palms touch. You're going to let the right hand drop towards the ground. So maybe just fingertips come down. Walk the fingers away as you come into a side stretch. You're trying to keep the spine as long as you can and try not to collapse down too much through the neck on the lower side. It's almost like you're trying to spin your chest up towards the sky a little bit. If it's comfortable on the neck, the gaze is at the top hand. If that feels weird on the neck, then you can look straight ahead or down. If after a couple of breaths you think you have a bit more space, you want to explore, feel free to sink a little bit deeper. Keep reaching through those fingertips. On the next exhale, you're going to turn your body slightly as you bring the right hand down to the ground and then walk your hands round in front of you. Just let your head sink forward, a little bit of a forward fold here. Still taking nice steady breaths. On your next inhale, walking the hands towards you, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale at the top. Inhale to sweep the arms up high again. Exhale, left fingertips come down, finding your side stretch. So again, reaching through that top hand, trying to keep the spine nice and long, chest spinning a little bit up towards the ceiling, gazing at that top hand. Nice big breaths. Again, option after a couple of breaths to see if there's space to sink a little deeper. Trying to sort of find that sweet spot where you're feeling a bit of a stretch in the side of the body and you can still take nice full breaths your breath is compromised by coming too far down into the side stretch, then just lifting up a little bit. One more breath here. And taking the left hand on an exhale down to the ground, walking the hands back to the front, finding that little forward bend. On your next inhale, walking the hands towards you, sitting up nice and tall. When you're ready, swing your legs around behind you, find your way to a tabletop position. It's getting nice and solid in your setup. Wrists roughly under your shoulders, knees roughly under hips. Trying to get nice sort of flat back. Inner elbows facing towards each other and pressing through those fingertips and thumbs to help spread the effort of supporting your weight so it's not all in your wrists. We'll do some cat-cows. So on an inhale, dropping the belly down, lifting the chest and the gaze forward. As you exhale, arching the back to the sky, head hangs heavy. Inhale, rolling forward, belly drops, chest lifts. Exhale, arching the back to the sky, head heavy. Keeping that going. If you want to close your eyes as you do this, you're welcome to. See if you feel any difference or find any difference in your focus. Trying to make that movement through your spine as fluid as you can. Noticing where any sticky bits are. Two more of each. Ending in neutral, nice strong tabletop, nice and active, nice and long through the neck. You're going to tuck the toes. You're going to walk the hands back towards you as you lift the knees, so you're in a bit of a squat. And then from here, you're going to lift the hips up, head down, so you're in a forward bend. Big bend in the knees, nice and soft. Maybe the chest is resting on the thighs. Back is nice and rounded, head is heavy. Maybe have a little sway side to side if that feels good. One more breath down here. Then on an inhale, rolling all the way to stand up, nice and tall at the back of your mat. Lovely. So we're going to do a little balance one. I don't think we've done this for a little while. So it sounds really simple. Let's see how it feels. So start with one of your feet, doesn't matter which, in the middle of your mat with your heel right up to the back of the mat. And you're going to walk the length of your mat, putting right through the middle of the mat, going heel to toe each time. So literally, so close enough that they touch. And you're going to walk 3 lengths of the mat. And try and lift the gaze so you're not staring at your feet. Taking it nice and slowly. And just turning on the spot when we get to one end and coming back. You should end up after your third. Oops. 1, up at the front of the mat. Get there, give it a little shake. Cool, so we'll do a little bit. Do a little bit balancing. You're gonna move around a little bit. It's a bit different to normal, but we'll see how we go. So we're gonna start with a warrior 3 variation. So you can start, I find it easier to have arms by my side for balance, but there's also a hands in prayer option or an arms overhead option. So see which one you want to go with. I'm going to go for sort of airplane wings. So we're going to start with the left leg first. So you're going to keep that foot nice and flexed. You're going to try and keep the left leg and the body all in one straight line. So you're going to flex through the left foot and start to pivot over the hip so that left lifts up behind you. So press out through the heel. Don't come too far just yet. Press out through the heel. Make sure the toes are angled down towards the floor. Nice, so your legs are sort of parallel. So if you swung the foot back, it would stand with your feet parallel. And then you're going to tip as far forward as you can, keeping that foot flexed, toes facing down towards the floor. So getting that straight line from your heel to the top of your head. So if you notice that you're rounding or one is dropping, then lift back up until you can balance them out. If you're coming quite far forward, that's totally fine, but no further than parallel with the ground. Nice steady breaths wherever you are. So keep the arms active, don't let them get too floppy when they just become weights. On the next exhale, you're going to bend the left leg. You're actually going to take the bottom part of the leg down to the ground, so and across behind you. So you end up with your knees crossed and sitting down on your bum in between your feet. Lovely. So you're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, take the hands in front of you, walk the fingertips forward, forward fold. So there's an outer hip stretch in here, maybe on one, maybe on two hips, depends how tight you are. So if you want to sit quite far up because you're finding that stretch quite soon, then that's absolutely fine. Just find the edge of the stretch. Maybe close the eyes or just soften the gaze on the floor in front of you. Nice, steady breath. On an inhale, walk the hands back towards you, sitting up nice and tall. You're going to take a twist. You're going to straighten out the left leg and you're going to uncross the leg so your right foot is next to your left knee. You can have a bit of a gap, you can have them quite close together, it's up to you. Sweeping the right hand behind you, sitting up nice and tall first, and then turning towards the knee, maybe giving it a little bit of a hug. So just taking the twist as far as you feel comfortable taking it. Try to flex through the left foot, it's extended. And try and keep the spine nice and long and the front of the chest as broad as you can. Lovely. Nice big breath. On your next inhale, you're going to come to face front. Bring the knees into the chest, cross the ankles, hands come down, and then you're going to step back to a downward facing dog. So lifting the hips, arms nice and straight, pressing through those fingertips, keeping the knees a little bit soft. Have any little wriggles you need, work into any stiff bits. Okay. Finding some stillness, couple of breaths here. And we're going to walk the feet back behind the wrists. Find your ragdoll forward fold again. Nice big bend in the knees, rounded through the back. Couple of breaths down here. On an inhale, rolling all the way up to stand. Nice and tall. Lovely. So we'll go with the other side. So resetting the feet, standing nice and tall. Choosing where your arms are going to go, maybe sort of mountain posy. So this time the right leg's going to come up. So we're going to flex through the foot, start to tip at the hips. Float that right leg straight up behind you. So you want to keep the hips facing in the same direction. So if it helps you to, you can't see them easily, so it helps you to keep your hands on them, to keep an eye on what they're doing, then feel free to keep them there. So just notice there's a tendency, it's quite natural for one hip to try and, the lifted hip to kind of pop up to the side. See if you can keep it closed down. Pressing out through the heel, nice and long through the back and the neck. Almost like you're squeezing your two thighs together. One more breath here. Then on an exhale, bending the right knee, taking it to the floor, finding that seated position again. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. And then when you're ready, option to reach forward, a little bit of a fold at the hips. So you're still trying to keep the back kind of long. Nice, steady breath. One more breath down here. On an inhale, gently walking the hands towards you, sitting up nice and tall. So you're going to uncross the legs again. So right leg comes out straight, left foot steps to the left side of the right knee. Flexing through that right foot. And when you're ready, sweeping the fingertips over, giving yourself a little hug. So if you need a bit more space to come into the twist, you can drop the knee away and then bring it back in. Just try and sit up nice and tall, whatever you're doing. Nice, steady breaths. Each time we're holding a pose, you can take your attention back to your breath. Explore how it feels in your body. And if you need to make any little adjustments to your shape to help you find that same deep, full breath, then just do that as you need to. One more breath in your twist. On an exhale, unravel, facing the front. Bring the knees into the chest, crossing the ankles, taking the hands down in front of you, stepping up and back to another downward facing dog. Nice and strong through the back as you push the ground away. Hips lifting up. Again, this is another good spot to play with that breath we did. So drawing the tummy button towards the front of the spine. Those muscles can really help lift your hips and hold you in down dog. Taking one more breath up here. On your next exhale, bring your knees down to the mat and find your way to child's pose. Any variation that feels good in your body just now. Have a little wriggle if a wriggle feels good. And take a few breaths in stillness. One more breath down here. And coming back up to a tabletop. You can get into the shoulders a little bit. So nice and strong in your tabletop to start with. Again, remembering to press through those fingers to support the weight of your body. We're going to start with the right arm, so reaching the right arm out to the side, palm of the hand facing down towards the earth. On an inhale, we're going to open the chest to the side, lift the hand to the sky. Exhale, reaching under the left arm as far as you can. Inhale to lift yourself back up. Exhale, reaching through. 3 more lifts. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale to lift. Exhale, reach. Inhale for your last lift. Exhale, reach as far as you can through before you let the hand, the shoulder, the head come down to the ground. The left hand can stay in front of the face for a bit of support, or you can slide it up to the top of the mat. Nice, steady breath. One more breath. On your next exhale, slide the left hand back in front of the face. On an inhale, you're going to press down to help spin the right arm back up to the sky. Exhale, hand comes down to the ground. Reset. And when you're ready, left arm reaches out, palm of the hand facing down, nice and long through the neck. On an inhale, opening the chest or reaching the arm up. Lovely. Exhale, reaching under the right hand. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale, lifting up. 3. Exhale, through. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, through. Inhale for your last reach up. Exhale, hand reaches under as far as it can. Hand, shoulder, head come down. Right hand can stay in front of the face for support or slide up to the top of the mat. Nice big breaths. Last breath. On an exhale, sliding the right hand back in front of the face. On an inhale, pressing down to spin the left arm back up. Exhale, hand comes down. And be sitting back on your heels, coming to a kneeling pose. And I'm just going to interlace the hands behind the back. Straighten the arms. Lift the chest forward a little bit. A little bit of a stretch across the front of the chest. Nice steady breaths. Then we're going to take the fist over to the left side of the waist. Draw the elbows in towards each other. If that feels like enough of a stretch, you can stay here. Two other options. You can look lovingly at your left shoulder, or you can drop the left ear down to it. They're both slightly different neck stretches, so see which feels better for you. Keep squeezing those elbows together behind you. One more breath. And you're going to straighten the arms, lift the chest in the middle again. Exhale, take the fists over to the other side. Elbows squeezing back behind you again. Same options with the head, so keeping the head central, looking at your right shoulder, or dropping the ear down towards it. One more breath. On an inhale, coming back to center, straightening the arms, lifting the chest. This time we're going to fold forward at the hips. The forehead's going to come down towards the ground or a cushion if the ground feels too far away. Letting the arms, the hands kind of come up as if they're trying to go overhead. So just letting them come as far as they'll go. Nice steady breath. Staying in your forward fold, release the hands so they come down towards your hips, letting go of their bind, and letting the arms drop down either side of your legs, hanging heavy into the ground. When you're ready, gently lift yourself up with or without your hands. And then we're going to swing our feet. I'm going to take a sort of upright twist before we come down. So you're going to slide your feet out to one side. So you're sitting to one side of your feet. And then you're going to kind of make two right angles with your knees. So kind of like this. It looks really weird on the screen. So it's like your left well, the front leg is coming straight out of the hip and then turning, bending 90 degrees, and the other one is coming out at 90 degrees from the other leg with another 90-degree bend in it. So you've got a whole lot of 90-degree bends going on. Cool. So sitting up nice and tall, facing over that front knee to start with. And then you're going to turn away from that knee as far as you can, using your hands for support. So you're still keeping the spine nice and long and yourself nice and lifted. So this might be where you stay, just finding the twist as far as you can, as far as feels good. You can stay up nice and high. If that's not really doing it for you, you can start to walk the hands away and lower yourself down. If you're doing this, you want to try and keep the shoulders level to make sure that you're getting the twist in the spine that we're after. So you can be as high or as low to the ground as you want here. Just wanting something to focus your gaze on, taking nice steady breath. One more breath on this side. And gently walking the hands towards you, and then bringing yourself to face the front leg again. You're going to sit back and switch the legs. Same shape other side of face. So sitting up nice and tall again, and then walking the hands to face the opposite side. You can stay up nice and high or start to walk the hands away. It doesn't matter, as long as you're feeling some sort of twist, mainly in the spine, it's all good. Nice and steady with the breath. And it might feel really different on each side, that's absolutely fine. Taking one more breath here. Gently walking the hands back towards you, coming up, sit nice and tall, facing front, and then you're going to swing both legs around in front of you. So just make sure there's space on the mat behind you. We're going to come down onto our back, so if you need to walk yourself down, then do that. If you're able to, then reach forward. Nice big curl through the front of the body, and then rolling yourself down, taking it nice and steady, seeing how slowly you can do it. Just worry about yourself, make sure it's nice and fluid, coming down onto your backs. Lovely. And then we're going to bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a nice big hug, make yourself into a small ball, pull some silly faces, get all that blood flowing. And then when you're ready, coming to your final pose, your Shavasana. So grab any blankets or cushions or other props that you like to have. Finding a comfortable position, traditionally on your back, but if you prefer to take it on your side or in another shape, feel free. I'm going to take 3 big sighs audible sighs to let go of all the work we've just done, all the effort, to allow our breath to settle back. So when you're ready, nice full breath in through the nose, really filling up those lungs deeply as you can. Big loud sigh out the mouth. Twice more. Noticing where your body is touching the ground beneath you. Allowing your bones to feel heavy, your muscles to feel soft, pressing into those places. Giving up all effort and control of your body just for the next few minutes as the ground supports you. Starting to take some deeper breaths. Gently starting to move the body again. Slowly making those movements bigger. Maybe having a nice big stretch. And whenever you're ready, drawing your knees into your chest. rolling over onto one side. You can take a few breaths on your side, or you can start to push yourself up to seated straight away. There's no rush. If you're still on your side, starting to think about pushing up, keeping the eyes closed, finding any comfortable seated position, letting your hands come to rest on your thighs, over your heart, or in prayer. Taking a moment to thank yourself for coming and practicing today, for making the time this evening. Taking a moment to thank each other for coming and sharing this practice with you. When you're ready, rubbing your hands together, getting them nice and toasty. Cupping the palms of your hands over your eyelids, noticing how that feels. When you're ready, taking a nice full breath, blinking open the eyes and taking your hands away from your face. Thank you for coming along this evening, ladies. Nice to see you as always. I will get the video over to you later. Just to say, next week is the last one in this block. So I will send you an email with details of how to sign up in January. I might have to record one or both of the first two January ones because the government's closed university. We're having to make up classes in January. So they might have to be pre-recorded. But I will be around if you need anything between now and then. Have a good week. Look after yourselves or your lovely Christmas trees. See you later.